You doing okay?
Yeah, I'm pretty good. How about you?
I'm all right. I'm on this new medication, mood stabilizer, so I'm a little out, like a little groggy. So, I apologize if I like stumble over my words or whatever.
That's okay.
Uh, Other than that, though, I'm good. Wife and kids doing okay?
Yeah,
Cool. Any New Year's plans?
not really. Probably just gonna go to sleep.
I'm gonna trip on shrooms.
Like I don't drink anymore, so I might grab a beer, maybe. Like I have better
Yeah.
shit to spend my money on than partying. That's like behind me, I guess. Too old for that.
Oh, so you used to be a partier.
Yeah, I used to a lot.
Oh shit, I
I,
can't imagine you.
yeah, I would get smashed out of my fucking mind. I like I remember one time I got fucking just wasted. I was like running through the forest and shit. I thought I was gonna get busted by the cops or some shit. I was fucking
Oh my
out
God.
of it.
Were you camping?
No, like it's just at like a friend's house and like the woods right there, cause where I was living in Michigan, it's a like really wooded area where I lived,
That's so funny.
like boondocks kind of thing. Yeah, like I drank so much like I passed out. I don't even know what the fuck was going on.
Yeah, see, I can't deal with that. What I don't like about drinking is are you recording? I don't are
Yeah,
we
yeah,
doing the
I
thing?
could cut it off.
No, you're fine. You're fine. I don't mind. I don't mind. What I don't like about drinking is just not remembering.
Like I didn't have like I would have like shorts, like 90% of it I would remember, but like 10% I wouldn't. But yeah, I don't do drugs or anything, so
Yeah, I remember New Year's 2018. I got so fucking drunk. I like remember it in like flashes. Like I remember t one friend on one side, one friend on the other side holding me over the toilet and then I puked, but I missed the toilet.
yeah, like when I don't usually don't remember things, but yeah, I it'd be like gone. Don't even know what the fuck I'm doing. I guess it's one of those
Oh
lovable
God.
drunks though. Like I love you, man.
Yeah, I'd get like that sometimes, but then sometimes I'd be kind of an asshole, so
I don't.
but
It's like
yeah,
100% like lovable drunk.
love that. Um so yeah, we're talking about the Rittenhouse verdict.
Yeah, if you want, it's all
Um,
up to you.
yeah, I mean, I mean, it's kind of in the past, I guess. Like the verdict has been made, and
Yeah,
there's,
it's more about what you thought, and I would like to touch on something you mentioned, like maybe he was a little bit more dubious of going there.
well, so from what I understand, there's a lot of like contradictory information about this like particular incident. But from what I understand, the owner of the car dealership,
Yeah, I know
was
where
it?
you're going with this.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
like
he didn't want them there.
I think he did, but he couldn't
Uh-huh.
admit that in the court, or he'd get sued. Because there's a picture of them, and
Hmm.
that was so there's some kind of affiliation there. Obviously, like why would you
Yeah.
take pictures with a stranger like that? That'd be really weird and
Yeah.
awkward. I mean that's possible, but that seems weird to me. I mean, I
Yeah,
can understand
so
why he went onto the stand and denied that. Like he asked him, because if he did, he would get sued. So I understand why he denied that shit.
yeah. Yeah, so I mean it's really that's just, there's not much I can really say on that. It's just
Yeah,
sort
he
of
couldn't
like
come out and admit it. There's no way.
yeah, so I mean
His
who
insurance would
really
be
knows,
fucked.
but I mean I think overall like, I think we can both agree he didn't need to be there. Like
Like
he
I don't like this argument because like Glucose shouldn't have been there or Rosenbaum shouldn't have been there. None of those other guys
well
should have been there as well. Like that's a weird argument. I don't like.
so I don't think it goes both ways because it's like okay, so I mean obviously, don't agree with I don't particularly agree with the actions of Rosenbaum, and I think Anthony Huber, uh,
Yeah, the guy who's
the
responsible. Yeah,
skateboard guy, yeah.
he's the only.
I think he kind of just misunderstood the situation. I don't think he was like I don't think he was trying to be malicious. I think that he just there's just so much chaos going on. It's really hard to
Yeah, that is a
really
good
interpret
point
what's
that I
happening.
heard people going over. Is like they thought he was an active shooter, which I kind of understand, but that's dangerous to go after him if you're not armed. And
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
the only
and
guy who was armed was not Rosenbaum, but the other guy. Can't think of his name.
yeah, no, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so he shouldn't
I
have been
mean,
armed either, because he had a
yeah,
felony. He
no,
should have had a
and
gun.
yeah, no, and I think I will flat out say I think just going to protests armed is just usually a really bad idea in general. I think it just makes the whole situation a lot more,
It can be a little bit more
you know.
volatile. He wasn't the only one
hmm
armed, so I don't really
No,
understand.
and I'm not just talking about Rittenhouse. I'm saying like
Right.
anybody
I
across the
got you.
board. I just don't think it's a good idea. Um, because it can lead to some pretty bad situations. But, I just think that, overall, I think that it's an interesting case, and I also find it really interesting that all the conservatives got really mad when Rittenhouse said he supports BLM like multiple
They got
times.
super pissed. It's like, we don't want nothing to do with this fucker. They got so mad. I
Yeah.
was like, okay, like, just, like, okay, he supports us, whatever. Just move on. But they were so mad. Like,
hmm
even the, what, Black Lives organization came out, I was like, yeah, we don't want nothing to do with this fucker. Like, oh, whoa, come on. That's like, if he says he supports you, be like, okay, but we don't approve what he did. That'd be fine to say.
hmm Yeah, I mean, I don't know which organization you're talking about. Like that's the thing
I don't know.
about
Yeah, like,
BLM is like there's all
I don't
these
know
different
what.
sects
Yeah, I
and
don't know what sector said it. I don't know if it's like the head, but
Mhm.
one of the organizations that were affiliated
Yeah,
with
I'm
him.
sure. Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, I just my personal opinion is that, I don't think it was really necessary for him to be there because he was defending this fucking car dealership that was already burnt to the ground from what I understand, right? So it's
At
like,
first, I don't think it was. I knew, like, during the trial, they said like two other. Well, I can't remember exactly how many, but he said a couple other of those businesses did burn down, and that's why they're trying to prevent that. But it didn't seem like he was even there to even defend it when it started to burn. So that was really weird. Like, why would
yeah,
he
so it
leave? Like the moments of where he left and went back. By the time he went back, it's already engulfed in flame. There's nothing they could do. So that was a little confusing as shit. What the
yeah,
what was
well
going
that
on
that
there?
just kind of leads me to believe, like maybe he just kind of had like this I don't know, this sort of like toxic masculine fantasy of just like, oh, I'm gonna go down there with
Oh,
my big gun. I'm gonna like,
yeah.
I
You had
find
to
it
go
kind
there.
of.
You had to go there. I hate those
I mean,
words.
oh, okay, we got to talk about that then. Why don't you like the words toxic masculinity?
Like, I don't see it I'm not saying it doesn't exist because certain attributes are actually really toxic. I get it, but like having a gun and going down there, like I don't see that as
I'm not saying it's
masculine.
inherently. I'm not saying it's inherently that, but I think that that could have been a component in his mind. I don't know. Like I can't read his mind, so I don't know.
True. I just
I'm just trying to
don't.
figure out what the point was of going there when he was like, like
I
17,
mean, besides that,
mom
he
driving him
was
there, all that bullshit.
maybe even hired to protect the lot. Who knows if that's really true because he denied it
Yeah, see that's
verbatim.
the
So
thing.
I can't 100% say he was hired to do it, but that seems
Uh-huh.
to be the case.
But then if that's the case, then why is that guy hiring 17-year-old kids to come
That
protect his
was
shit? Why don't you get
that was a little
like
bit weird. Maybe there's probably he couldn't probably afford any like personal security. That would make a little bit more sense because private security is a little bit more expensive. Um, you could just like throw a couple $100 at a couple 18-year-olds and be like, protect this, don't do anything illegal, uh, just don't let anyone set fire to it, whatever. But the 17 is definitely borderline. I definitely probably wouldn't have hired someone that is younger than 18, that's for sure, or supposedly hired.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't think the mom should have driven him there.
That
Personally,
was
I think that's kind of.
yeah, like a couple other people. I can't remember the fucker's name. He drove way further than Rittenhouse. I don't think anyone should have been there personally. I mean, if you wanted to protest, fine, I guess, but I don't
Hmm.
think anyone should have been there really. That's my stance on the
Yeah.
whole thing.
No, I mean, I get that, and and I mean, like, I think that what happened to Jacob Blake, that was what the Kenosha protests were about, right? Jacob Blake, right?
Yeah, yeah, they
I
were.
think what happened to him was an obvious like injustice. But
Really? Interesting.
um, I from what I understand, I'm not as well read on that particular situation as I am others. I mean, there's so many cop shootings, man. It's hard to keep track of them all, but
Unfortunately, that is true.
from the footage I've seen and from what I remember about that, it was, something that really shouldn't have happened. Because I mean, he was shot in the back, wasn't he?
Yeah, like 6 or 7 times, but he did admit that he had a knife.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, but wasn't it like under his car seat or
He said
something? He didn't even have it on him.
it's like the way he said it was really weird. He might have had it on him. The way he said it
Mm,
is like it like dropped to the floorboards, or he picked it up from the floorboards. I'm not too exactly
yeah.
sure
There's
what happened
always there's
there.
always contradictory information there, but I think that let's say like worst case scenario, he was holding the knife and he was planning on attack. I mean, 7 shots for a
Sometimes,
knife. I
yeah,
mean,
that I think
it's
sometimes
a
that
little
is excessive.
excessive.
That is, I agree.
Yeah.
Actually, you do agree on that.
Yeah.
What I didn't like is like the media left out where the cops had him on the ground like on the side of the car, and he got up and like got away from him, then tried to like drive
Mm.
away. Like that is like the whole thing that led up
I
to that
well,
shooting was.
most of the
Uh,
stuff I read did mention that.
I didn't
I
see
don't
it till
know.
much later, like where I
Okay.
just the news I was watching. I didn't see that covered
Were
till
you?
much
Because
later.
I don't really watch mainstream media,
Neither,
so I don't know.
same.
I don't
Same
know
here.
what they're saying about it, but
Basically, he
yeah.
went there. Well, at first it was seemed like they were really being disingenuous with what happened because where I remember they didn't show that part at all until a little bit later until that kind of came out. It was a little bit well
Mm.
known, but he's like he was there to break up a fight, which was totally from what I could tell a lie because like his girlfriend had a restraining order against him, so he wasn't even supposed to be there, and that's why she called the cops. Like this guy can't be near me.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
he
no,
insulted me.
yeah, yeah, I remember
So
all that shit,
I was just like,
and like
wow, come on now.
and even if all that is true, I think that it was just an obvious excessive use of force, but
Yeah,
um,
sometimes I agree excessive. You don't have to do that.
yeah, there could have been, and I understand like what is it, Monday night quarterbacking as they call
Yeah,
it, like I understand,
you
like
just sit back and just
yeah,
judge it because you're not in that situation. I
yeah,
know, like
exactly.
I know, like people misunderstand how many shots a person can really take without it, disabling you. Sometimes, depending on where you get shot, of course.
Yeah, I mean, have you seen Scarface? I'm still
Yeah,
standing up.
a little bit exaggerated, I think, but yeah, sometimes that can happen. Like you shoot somebody
If
like
they're
three or
like
four
on
times, and
PCP or some
they
shit,
just
they're on
still come at
PCP,
you.
then
Yeah, people just give them
yeah.
5, 6 shots, and they still come. If it's not vital, they can still
But
come after
but
you.
I think in this case, I mean, it was to the back. I mean, that's
Yeah, I thought that was a sense of myself. Seven is
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
ridiculous.
But yeah, I mean, but yeah. So I mean, of course there's problems I have with the whole situation with Rittenhouse, but there's really nothing I can do about it, so I'm just not really gonna waste too much energy on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, critical race theory. I know you wanted to talk about that. I wasn't
Yeah.
really sure what your stance is. I meant to watch. I don't know if you made any videos on it. I meant to watch if you did,
I
but
remember
I got
did
distracted.
reply to one of your like you left us something about who's teaching kindergarten, like kids like in kindergarten CRT. I remember replying to you, but somehow like when I edited the comment, like it deleted the whole thing. So I was like, fuck, because I gave you some references and shit. It wasn't like
Oh,
kindergarten. They weren't teaching like kindergartens this, but it was like second or third grade. I don't think it's CRT like the right thinks it is, because the right's pissing me off with this. Trust me, they really do.
well, yeah, because I mean, it's at the point because that's why I wanted to kind of define our terms because I feel like the term is just so like watered down. It literally
It
just
is.
means like any discussion about like any racial
Right.
topic,
I actually agree with you
which
there, because like the
yeah.
right I think over exaggerates it way too much, and I think the left, I won't say underplays it to the exact same extent, but I do think they underplay it a little bit.
How so?
Like it can, like I don't like the whole oppressor kind of thing, and I've seen that played out. I remember watching a video where this woman was reading a book, and it said color was the most defining thing about you, and they're like in third or fourth grade.
Yeah,
I was like, what
that's
the
pretty
fuck?
that's pretty indefensible. I'm not gonna defend
I
that.
was like,
Um,
that's fucking terrible.
yeah, no, I mean, obviously, I'm not gonna defend that, but I mean, I think we can agree that that's not what critical race theory is
Yeah, I
like
don't think
that.
that is either. Like,
Yeah,
I just read a
but
couple
yeah, I don't like
articles.
that either.
Just they want to ban or like restrict certain like slavery topics, and I'm just like, whoa, wait a minute, like,
That's what they're doing in Texas, right? Like
yeah,
I think they like
they
literally
want to
ban like a
restrict
Martin
it.
Luther King
Yeah,
speech.
I'm just like, no, stop censoring this shit. I'm like, teach it.
Yeah.
I don't care if you teach this. It's just be unbiased I know it's not really 100% bias to unbiased, I mean, to a certain
Mm,
degree. I don't think anything was going to be, but at least if you present it as fact and historical fact, I have no problem with it, and the right wants to censor that. I don't get it, because they're 100% usually against censorship, and here they are trying to censor
mm.
shit.
Well, they're not. That's the problem is that they really don't care about the whole censorship thing. They just don't want to be censored. If they were in power, they would be more than happy to censor all the dissenting leftists. They would love that. It's really a virtue signaling thing.
I like I feel like the left, at least they'll come out and just be honest about it. It's like, yeah, this should be censored. While the right is like, no, we want to ban this because think of the children. I hate the whole,
Hmm.
I hate that shit. The whole moral high ground shit.
Yeah, no, I agree. And, it's just I think it's just it annoys me because they always have to create a boogeyman to in order to have something to talk about because they lose on the substance every single time when it comes to economics and stuff like that. Their ideas just aren't popular, so they have to go to these sort of culture war issues in order to rile up their base.
I don't think that's 100% all the right. That's definitely true with a lot of more of the right leaning
Well, when I say the right,
personalities.
I mean like some of the biggest personalities and the politicians. I'm not necessarily meaning like every single
Right.
person who
Yeah,
subscribes to the
yeah,
ideology.
I get what you're saying.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. And I've talked to some like conservative leaning people that, don't like the sort of sensationalist culture war aspects
Like I get
of
why
a
they
lot of
do it,
bigger. Yeah.
on the left and the right. Like
Mhm.
it's just it's a lot of confirmation bias on both of the
Well,
sides.
I think
Definitely.
I think the right definitely does it more than the left, but yeah, there's definitely a
Yeah.
lot of
I was
there.
gonna make a video about like what the left does more than the right, and vice versa. In a rant, I might do it later. I've noticed that they
That
do
makes
that.
sense. Yeah, I mean that sounds interesting. Um, but yeah, and I think it is sort of important to kind of critically analyze like legal systems and how they may be biased towards certain people, whether it be men, women, people of color, whatever. Like I think it's just important to sort of critically analyze this and see like what can we do to alleviate these sort of biases, because I think that there's biases in the justice system for black people. I think there's biases for Hispanic people. I also think there's biases against men and women and like different aspects and stuff like that. Like with men, like divorce settlements and stuff like that.
Okay.
So I think that we need to, yeah, I think that just
That,
we
that
need to
that seems like
have
a hot
a
take from you.
well, I'm a feminist, but I think that I really want to talk about men's issues too, because I spent the better part of my life being a quote unquote man. So, I just think that yeah, I think it's really important to talk about men's issues too, because we're fighting for gender equality, are we not? So, yeah.
Oh, okay. That's fair enough.
Yeah, I mean, and of course, I'll have some people, disagree with me on that are feminists, and that's fine. They can disagree with me on that, but I'm right and they're wrong, so.
Oh, okay. Alright. I think the biggest issue, the hot button issue you have with me when I did the transgender into sports.
Well, I think what mainly kind of made me mad about it was I could tell that you didn't do that much research on it before making the video, because you were like, I've never seen a trans man, in men's
I know you
sports, and I'm
kind of
like, well,
preface it. Yeah,
your
I fucked
thumbnail
it
is
up.
literally that.
Yes. I learned
It's
about
okay.
it
I mean, we
like
yeah.
the
No, I mean
day
that's good.
after I posted
Yeah.
that. I was like, man, this is gonna make me look like a fucking idiot. And admittedly, it did.
We
Someone
all we
came
all
out
fuck
me,
up sometimes.
yeah, like he came at me pretty hard. I was like, okay,
I
yeah,
did. I did.
I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, I fucked up. I am, I did fuck up.
Yeah,
But
and
then
that's okay.
I was like, yeah, I learned about it shortly after. I was like, God damn it, I'm gonna get fucked on that one. But it's okay. Like I thought, like my overall message was okay, or at least I just listened to it today earlier, so I was like, okay, yeah, the message is still the same. I did fuck up
Hmm.
on this. My overall message is what counts. I can take the big L on I
The
fucking
picture, yeah.
I did do research.
Um,
I just didn't find her. I think it's her. It's a him, right?
him,
Him.
it'd be a
Sorry,
him, yeah.
I
You're
probably
okay.
misgendered accidentally. It is identified as a man. I just didn't run into it for some odd reason.
Yeah.
What
No, no, I
maybe
mean, shit happens. Like, I'm sure you just, like, looked on Google for a thumbnail to
I
use
went.
and you just
Yeah,
weren't
I
thinking
just
about it.
used it. I didn't think about it much.
Hmm.
That's true, and I should have actually did a little bit more due diligence on that myself. That's definitely true.
Well, yeah, and I mean, that's just you can say I'm biased and nitpicking, it's fine. But yeah, like you said, it's the actual message that counts. And it wasn't that particular video. We can get to that in a second if you'd like. But there was
That's fine.
another one you did. It was called like My Thoughts on the LGBT
Oh,
community or
okay.
something
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah. You came at me
And
hard on that one too.
you had a problem with trans people like using the bathrooms that correspond with their gender identity, I believe. I don't know if you've changed your opinion on
It
that.
was
Um,
more so why laws were being put place, which I failed to see. I tried to look up why they want laws, in particular why they want that, and I was like looking up, is it a safety issue? And I looked up into like maybe a little bit more statistics if they get maybe assaulted in the bathrooms more often, and there's no the statistics, very little on like assaults in bathrooms in general. So it was hard to
Yeah,
pinpoint if there was a big difference because that rarely happens, if at all. Anyways, so there wasn't enough data there to show one way or another. So I was like, why specifically do they need this when they can just do it anyways and probably not get arrested or cops? There has been instances, trust me, I've seen them,
mhm.
but I just didn't understand or get why it was so important because I was like, probably for years,
So like,
many years, they probably done this and not gotten any backlash or cops called or had any problems. So why is
mhm,
such a big issue now, like more so in
mhm,
like 2020 and a little bit earlier than then, and even now, I just
mhm.
didn't understand it.
Yeah, so what laws are you referring to? Like, you mean passing laws to make it to where it's like a like to make sure that
Some of the
that
laws are
companies don't.
yeah, you have to have like what was it? You have to use the bathroom that your birth certificate is signed to as
Oh,
well.
that's oh yeah, no, those are horrible. Yeah,
And
yeah,
they were
yeah.
trying to pass laws to get rid of that. So I was like, why are
Oh,
you
to get
trying to
rid of
do
it.
that when you
Gotcha.
can just do that anyways,
Yeah, no, I know what you're saying. It's kind of like an unspoken rule kind of thing. And I think a part of that might just be to, maybe like a business or something like that where the owners are hostile towards trans people. Maybe if they notice, they clock, quote unquote, a trans person, like a trans woman using the women's bathroom and they don't like that, maybe they could call the cops and get them in trouble. Um, I don't know. I haven't heard too many cases like that either way, though.
I've
You know what I mean?
heard a few, but it's not like that's why I was confused about. I was like, this doesn't seem like
Me,
a huge problem, so why try to
yeah,
get this stuff changed? Except
me.
for
Well,
like the whole
so,
feelings thing, like you want to
well,
feel comfortable.
so me personally, I'm afraid to use public bathrooms unless there's like a family restroom or some iteration of gender neutral, because I'm
Is there
just like,
any
I,
merit
I'm
to
in the
that
South.
fear?
I'm scared. Sorry?
Is there like any merit to that fear, or are you just like paranoid?
So I would say that the sort of like, well, first of all, 2021 has seen the largest amount of hate crimes against trans people out of any year recorded. So I mean, there's one thing.
I mean, that's not
Um,
well. It's in the U.S., but
in the
from
U.S., in the U.S., yeah,
it's
yeah.
from the
Obviously, it's worse in places like India with the hijras and everything. Like, I understand that, but
it's from what I can't remember the fucking island, like the 50, the other quote unquote state. It's usually it's in that particular area, and not like the main USA, from what I can tell.
the are you talking about Puerto Rico?
But yeah, Puerto Rico. I couldn't fucking think of it. Yeah,
Oh,
like
okay.
most of the, if not all of the trans, I guess, hate crimes are in there in Puerto Rico, and they count
I
that as
have
the
to look into
USA.
that.
Yeah, like
Oh,
I looked into it, and there's only been like a couple in the
Trans
states that actually would been like killed or murdered, like two or three, maybe four.
America.
But it's like a lot of it's in
Um,
Puerto Rico.
Let me see. See, what sucks is like there isn't like an incredible amount of data on this. Like for gay people and like lesbian people, there's a good amount of data. But
Like most of the
let me
murders,
see.
from what I could tell, happened in Puerto Rico.
Okay, I'm gonna have to look more into that. I don't
I could
really.
have missed
It's
something.
gonna take me a minute. Yeah, I don't know, but point is that I will say that the state I'm living in has passed or has introduced the most anti-trans bills out of any state in America. There
Could
have been
you
many that were
clarify
passed,
that?
but were yeah. So basically, the amount of anti-trans legislation that was introduced by the legislature in my state is more there are more like there are higher amount of bills that were introduced than in any other state. You know what I'm saying?
What's
And I
exactly
think the most has
anti-trans
been passed.
laws? Can you tell me?
So, for instance, there was one that was blocked by a federal court because it violated the First Amendment. I'm kind of doxing myself here by talking about this because you could probably easily find out what state I live in. Whatever, I don't care. Um, they're basically the governor passed a bill where businesses had to have a sign on the front of their business stating the fact that they allow trans people to use the restroom of their choice. You have to have a sign. You're forced to
Oh,
do
I've
that.
never heard of
And
that.
if you
Okay.
don't, yeah, and if you don't, you are going to be slapped with some hard fines and maybe even jail time. Um,
Yeah,
which
um,
kind of
I'd be
kind of
against that.
creates
Yeah,
yeah, it
like
kind of
imagine
creates a
if
Jim
that.
Crow like situation where
Yeah,
it's like,
imagine that if that sign said black,
yeah,
or
no,
white, or
exactly.
Asian, or whatever else
Yeah,
capital
so it's
S.
it's it's stuff like that that
Yeah,
just makes me really horrified because truth be told, man, I don't think I'm gonna be assaulted or killed. The chances are pretty low, I think. But I might have some people yelling at me. I might have some people accost me or something like that, and I have really bad anxiety, so I don't want to deal with that. So that's kind of where I'm coming from, you know?
yeah, I understand the anxiety thing. I did that video about
Mm.
that not too long ago.
Yeah. So okay, so we back to the bathroom thing though. So your stance is basically just like you don't give a fuck, basically.
Like
It's
I
kind of what
didn't
you were
like
saying.
like I just didn't understand why they want the laws passed when they can just go in there anyway, and the chances of getting assaulted or getting the cops called on seems extremely low to me, at least. So why are it so important to pass these laws? Besides, it just feels, I guess, safer.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, it's just to have it like set in stone so that,
Just
you
secure.
know, if they I guess it also makes it harder to pass anti-trans legislation, right? Because they have to repeal that legislation before introducing the new one, right?
Like I'm
Nah, I
not.
don't know.
Yeah, I don't know myself, but I was just so confused. Like, why are you trying to pass these laws when it seems unnecessary to do so?
Honestly, I'd have to look into the particular laws you're talking about and read them for myself to kind of get
There's
an
another
idea.
one where they had to have like a third bathroom. Like certain businesses had to have
Mm.
a third bathroom for them. They
Hmm.
had to install one at least.
I'm not opposed to the idea, like especially for like there you have to admit there's an increasing amount of people like in the world, like young people especially that are identifying as like gender neutral, non-binary, stuff like that. They exist and I mean I don't really see a problem with that. I mean, especially with people, not just for non-binary people, but also for people that are maybe like really early in transition and they don't really pass very well, but they don't really feel comfortable using either bathrooms. They can have that option. I mean, I think it's a good thing. And then also like just to have like family restrooms or whatever, just for families and stuff. I mean,
I mean, if
I
it
don't
comes down
really
to
I don't really see a
feelings, like if
downside
they
to it.
just feel, safer or feel whatever, I don't. That doesn't bother me. Like, okay, that makes you
Mm,
if that makes you feel much better or much safer, then so be it. Like, I'm not against that. Like, I'm not gonna be like, no, fuck your feelings. Just use the
hmm.
bathroom you're assigned to. No, I'm not gonna be like that.
Yeah, and I mean, me personally, like at this point in my life, and like like I said, being in the South and everything, where I mean, I've dealt with a lot of transphobia since I've like come out and everything down here, and you know, like me personally, I like to use those gender neutral bathrooms just because like it's private, there's nobody looking at me.
Yeah,
I,
there's
I
no
just
one else
I
looking. I
personally feel
understand that.
safer. So yeah, I mean,
Okay,
yeah.
that's fair.
Um, but yeah, so I mean, okay, so back to the sports thing though. Um, what I mean, I don't want to like assume what your stance is on that currently, so maybe you can tell me about that.
Like, I remember when I just listened to it today, so like the stance I was having is like, yeah, it's more like a high school. I should have clarified that.
Mm,
More of a high school athletics than like a professional, because not a whole lot of professional transgender athletes are, or at least they admit to at least. There's a few that I can think of off the top of my head, but it's usually in the high school range where they transition and they want to go into female sports and they just obliterate the competition. There's a few in
Mhm.
track and field that absolutely just dominate. A few in cycling. There was the MMA fighter. She did eventually lose, but like she like I guess she wasn't trained. Um, but if she actually did train, she probably would have dominated that pretty hard. I remember she broke some chick's skull, but she did eventually lose. She was just much better at the sport. It's just 100 wasn't 100% like power based. But yeah,
So
I was like,
th
dang,
this
this might
might
be a little bit I guess I wouldn't say dangerous, but definitely can be overtaken by someone who was biological male for most of their life. Now is transitioning. Sure,
yeah,
and some of these
I was
high
actually
school
getting to
sport, yeah,
that.
some of the high school sports don't have like a testosterone level of I guess availability where they have to have at a certain range
Yeah,
for
and I
them to
don't agree with that.
compete.
I think they should. I think they
And
should.
that I'm just
I
like,
think most
whoa,
do though, to be fair.
yeah,
I
they
think most
do,
do,
most do, yes.
but yeah, like I think that they should definitely have that for sure. But I remember you saying you don't like the idea of giving hormone blockers to kids.
Yeah,
Like by kids,
I
I
say
mean like
12 or
teens.
under. Yeah, 12 or under. I was kind of like, I wouldn't call it like abuse, but I think that's can be dangerous.
Well, remember we're talking about hormone blockers. We're not talking about like hormone replacement therapy.
Right,
You know
right,
what I
right.
mean? So when you put them on hormone blockers, if they decide they want to get off of it,
Yeah,
they can get off of it and they
that's
hit puberty just like
reversible.
normal.
That's
Hmm.
I think I'm fine with that. If it's a reversible thing, and if you're not replacing them, I even though
Hmm.
they can be blocked, and that might have some side effects. I know it's not
There's
100%
no well yeah
preventative, but you know what I'm
yeah,
saying.
I mean every medication has
Yeah,
side
every
effects, but
medication, but it's definitely a reversible thing, and it's not 100% damaging to your body. Then I'm fine with it. I should have definitely
yeah.
clarified that.
Okay, well I mean yeah, we were agreeing on that. So with that said, it would probably be a good idea to kind of, catch it early and, have them go on hormone blockers. And then when they're like 16 or whatever, then start the HRT. And then they don't have those life-changing,
Mm.
like body-changing, effects from testosterone or estrogen
I would agree, as long as
either
it's
way.
not really affecting them, like or in like a mental state, or it's giving them, I guess, way bad, like maybe they had a bad reaction to the medication for some odd reason. Then I think that'd be
Yeah,
fine.
I haven't heard of too many instances of that
I don't.
happening.
I'm not too sure. I'm just saying.
Yeah. I got you. Okay, cool. Yeah, so yeah, I mean, I think we're, you know, like pretty much in agreement. I mean, I think that
I could.
I think that
Yeah.
there
I guess I
is.
could, did confuse blockers from a replacement kind of a thing. So
Hmm.
yeah.
That's yeah, and that's I mean, a lot of people make that mistake. It's a pretty common error. It's and honestly, I gotta blame the conservatives for that one because they'll take these stories of kids getting hormone blockers and they'll just flat out lie and say being given HRT, which is not the same thing. And so they're like, oh, it's a 12-year-old boy growing breasts and blah, blah. It's like, it's complete bullshit.
Yeah, I don't like the moral high ground. I hate this. That pisses me off. I'm not gonna lie. Like, think of the children. Like, shut up, please.
Yeah, I see. I actually care about science, unlike you. Okay, because that's what they always try to posture and say we care about science, and
I
it's like,
actually agree. Like, the right does that a lot. Like, think of the children. I'm like, stop.
um, oh God, I kind of want to get to that, but we're still on the trans thing. So okay, so just kind of close things off. If we have a sort of like ideal system of testing for T levels and stuff like that, then we're still fine with trans people
Well,
being
I think
in.
they still have an advantage because, of course, they're going to have like different bone structure, different muscles,
Hmm.
different um, oxygen levels in blood are different. So there is a bit of advantage. I'm not exactly. I don't think it's been really proven or be quantified how much advantage. Um,
Hmm.
Obviously,
I
there
think it
is a
really
van.
just.
There definitely in some of the high schoolers that I've seen that definitely dominate certain sports more than others. And yeah, you could say, well, different females definitely have a different
I
athletic
will.
abilities and stuff like that. But I'm
I
just
will
like,
say.
I
I
don't
will
know.
say it's largely dependent on whether or not they were exercising before they started hormones. I think, too,
Yeah, I'm not too
because
100% what makes the difference, but there's obviously some kind of advantage. I don't think it's
um
too debatable there, unless you want to correct me.
well, I mean, I think it just depends. I think that there are instances where there can be an advantage, but I think that um, if the person starts on hormone blockers or isn't exercising that much before the hormone therapy, I think that that kind of makes a pretty big difference because they're kind of building that muscle and they're kind of, getting the benefits of that testosterone to build that muscle so that once they start hormone therapy, they've already gotten those benefits. So yeah, I mean, I think in some instances, yes, but also in some instances, no. You know what I mean? It's really a case by case basis. So I don't like it when people are just like, well, we should just not let trans people play sports at all. Like, let's
Nah,
just let's just take them out.
I don't like that either. Like I'm fine with them playing sports, but where do we separate when I guess when they're dominating a certain sport, or where do we draw the line? Where I guess is it what factors do we place into here to make it a little bit more fair? Because some of these ath- athletes are obviously way
Hmm.
above what they need to be and just obliterating the competition.
Okay, okay, okay. I'm gonna destroy your entire argument right
Okay,
here.
go
Okay,
ahead, go
okay.
for it.
Before I started hormones, I could open up peanut butter jars. But now that I've started hormones, I have to have my boyfriend open them for me. Checkmate.
Son of you got me. Oh, jeez. I didn't think you were going to go there. You got me.
Yeah, I'm just fucking with you.
I know you are, but that's
I
funny.
wanted to I wanted to ask you about vaccines. Where do we stand on
Oh my god.
vaccines?
Well, I've actually taken mine, so I haven't got my
Okay.
second one, but I plan to. I probably won't get the boosters because those kind of piss me off.
Oh, what pisses you
Um,
off about the boosters?
I think it's more or less like they're I wouldn't say milking it, but they kind of are like especially pushing like if you don't have the boosters then you're not fully vaccinated. They changed that from the two shots to now you have to have the booster to be fully vaccinated. I'm just like,
Do they
stop
do they
changing your
did
fucking
they actually
mind.
do that? Like
Yeah, I don't
you're
think
not
it's there
considered fully vaxxed?
yet, but
Okay.
more and more companies are doing that. It's not like totally they have to do that, but it seems like a more of a personal
It's
choice by the
becoming more.
company. Yeah, it's
You're saying it's more becoming more of a consensus
yeah,
as
it's
time goes
more
along. I get what you're
yeah,
saying.
it's more and more common. I'm just like,
Um,
why? Stop.
yeah, I think the problem is that I want to say after 9 months of getting the second shot, I think studies show that the efficacy is dramatically reduced.
Yeah, and also like I guess what do they call it? When you get immunity from just getting it, also is I can't remember if it's true or not. It's better than actually getting the vaccine, but I wouldn't want to get.
Mm-mm.
But I could be wrong. I can't remember. But the like I wouldn't really want to get it naturally. Well, I did, but
So,
I'd rather have a
yeah,
weekend formed personally and get it that way
yeah,
than actually
yeah.
get the full blown thing in person.
So from what I understand, and you can feel free to fact check me on this. I believe natural immunity lasts about 3 months. And then currently with these vaccines, the immunity lasts about like 9 to 12.
Yeah, I'm not
So
exactly. I have to look into it more because I kind of like dropped the whole thing because
now,
it's getting ridiculous.
yeah, but now here's an interesting thing though, is that um if you are if you do have natural immunity and you have vaccine immunity, they call that hybrid immunity. So you're like more
Yeah, your
immune
chances
than
go way
people
down.
who,
Obviously, that's
yeah.
a fact. Like it's
Hmm.
way less. And if you do get it, the system,
You want to play a dumber
it's
version of this,
way
which is
weaker and it's way easier to cover and everything
Mhm.
that goes. That's obvious.
Have you been paying attention to the Trump shit where Trump was like, "Oh, I think the
Yes.
vaccine is tremendous. It's the greatest
Yeah.
accomplishment of humankind."
Yeah. So you would bring that up. It reminds me of the wall situation where he said he's gonna make Mexico pay for the wall. Like now you're saying something good because Biden is writing on it. Like,
That's
like
basically.
why
But
is he?
and now the Trump supporters are mad about it.
Yeah,
They're like, "You
I
betrayed
was, I
us."
was, I was surprised. He getting booed and shit. He's like, yeah, I got him. Boo. Like, what? What's wrong with you?
No, it's so funny because they boo every time, right? But if you talk to any conservative, they're always like, and I should say anti-vax conservative because they're not all anti-vax, but a lot of them are. They're like, well, it's a personal choice. If you personally want to get the vaccine, that's your right. But I personally don't want to get it, and that's my right. But then Trump goes out there and says he got it, and they boo him. It's like, what the fuck?
That confused the shit out of me. He's like, well, if he's not exactly saying go get him, he's like
He did
these.
say that. He's like,
Oh,
I
did
think
he?
you should get
Oh,
it.
okay.
Yeah, he flat out said, I think
Oh,
you
I
should
didn't
get
think he
it.
did. Well, like, what's wrong with that? I know a lot of people are very against the mandates, which okay, fair enough. You shouldn't have to be forced to get it. I agree with that, but
I do find it funny that George Washington required his army to be inoculated
I mean,
from smallpox.
yeah, I mean that makes fucking this is so stupid. Like, just if Trump is actually for this, you should be for it too. Why boo him? He's not like you gotta be forced to get it. Like, what? I don't get it. Sometimes some Trump supporters are just weird.
Yeah. Oh God. But yeah, I mean, well, shit. That covers a lot of ground. Oh yeah, you wanted to talk about communism. I've almost
Oh yeah,
forgot the most important
the
part.
most important part.
I mean, I guess I'm not as evangelical about it as I used to be. Like I really wanted to get people on board with the revolution and shit. Of course, I still do, but I mean, I don't know. What do you
But
want to know about it?
I
I don't
didn't
know.
think you were like a radical, or I guess radical by, kind, capitalism is bad, evil. This is so much
Well,
better.
I don't think capitalism is evil. I don't think anything is inherently evil. I think that, it is a economic system in which it's a mode of production, and I think that, it's an inevitability that its contradictions will lead to a revolution, just as there was under feudalism, and that will bring about the socialist mode of production. So I don't think it's inherently evil. I just think it's loaded with contradictions.
Okay. Well, I don't think
Um,
any form of government is exactly perfect, regardless what it is.
well, it's not a form of government, it's a mode of
Well,
production. It's economics, right? So you can have you know, I don't know,
so you're for the workers owning the means of production.
correct.
Oh, jeez.
It's okay.
I
Oh,
got,
geez.
I got a question.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot. I guess the right point this out. I'm pretty sure you know where I'm going. Um, I kind of agree what they say. It's like who invested more into the company, the CEO or the workers? Because
Hmm.
they they, they have to pay for the building, they have to pay for whatever equipment you have to use
And where did they get that money?
through loans usually.
Through loans, right? So if they
Usually,
take
unless
that
they're
money
rich or
through
whatever.
loans, if they take that money through loans and they put it into the company, but they don't have any workers, what do they have? Nothing,
But you
right?
still, the workers have to have the equipment and the building to make said product. Without that, they have nothing as well.
Yeah, exactly. Which is why I said they should have it.
They should have it though, because let's say Jeff Bezos, of course, he put more money into it. Because if he goes bankrupt tomorrow, let's say if they do
Wait,
own,
we're not defending Jeff Bezos here, are we?
no, no, no,
Because
no, no, no,
that's a
no,
pretty
no,
okay.
I'm not defending. I'm just using an example.
Okay,
that I'm not defending this guy at all. Um,
right. Just an example. Gotcha.
just an example of he made Amazon the way it is today. So
No, see,
well,
that's my problem though. Is like without his millions of workers running the show, if they were to all of a sudden to decide tomorrow, every last one of them, okay, I'm gonna quit. I'm not gonna work. I'm not gonna go into work today. His company would plummet.
I mean that would never happen.
No, it's a hypothetical. I'm not
Yeah,
saying it
it's
would
true.
happen. I'm just saying if it were to happen, his company would plummet.
I mean he'd lose. He probably wouldn't lose anything, honestly, because he
Well,
has
I
the
mean, if
stocks.
yeah, yeah,
He would just
he
sell his
well,
stocks and
yeah,
be
he'd sell off his
rich.
stocks. He'd be fine, but the
He'd be
company
fine.
would go under.
Yeah, most likely. Thing is,
Well, I mean, they could try to build a bunch of machines, but who's going to build the machines? They don't want to work, so who's going to build the machines to do the work, right?
you'd probably be able to find someone to do it, but
No, I know.
problem
I'm
is,
saying
yeah,
under this
no,
hypothetical, if
sure,
nobody wanted to work for Amazon,
right.
they'd be fucked.
Thing is, like, if he went out of business, the workers like essentially lose nothing, and Jeff Bezos has to pay off, well, usually a bunch of debt. Not necessarily. He might recover most of that losses through subsidies or selling his
Hmm.
stocks, or it'd be nowhere near as rich. Obviously, I wouldn't say he'd be poor, though that may be possible.
Well, it's what
But
would he
the
lose the amount
worker
he lost in the divorce settlement is the real question.
most likely not, because she got half. That was dumb. And the chick he had an affair with is definitely a downgrade. Because his
Okay,
wife is smoking
we can
hot.
agree on that.
His wife is
We can
smoking hot. I was like, why?
yeah, we can agree on that. I don't know, maybe she had a tighter pussy, you know? You don't know that.
Maybe she was a freak. I don't know.
Maybe the wife wouldn't
I
suck his
looked at
cock anymore,
I
you
looked
know?
at it. I was like, damn, what's wrong with you, dude? I don't I don't get why you did that. But back to the topic at hand,
Right.
like when you like if he went like bankrupt before they refused the work, the workers don't lose anything, and just Bezos for the most part is out a lot of money. Like the workers can go somewhere else and they'd be fine.
Well,
Well,
I mean
that's
that's not exactly true, right? I mean, yes, they could go somewhere else, but I mean, you have to think about like I'm saying
I mean
like
it's hard
the
today because
under
Amazon owns a
yeah.
lot of shit, but
Well, that and also under capitalism, the worker has under ours, like under American capitalism especially, the worker basically has no say in anything. So, you sort of this company that you're working for is sort of your life, right? I mean, your insurance is connected through it, right? So if you were to lose that job, you lose your insurance for 3 months because most companies require you to work for them for 3 months before you get your insurance back, right? Um, so I mean, I'd say the workers have a lot to lose because I mean, most workers in America are living paycheck to paycheck. I think it's like I don't mean who knows how high it is now after COVID and everything. But most people are living paycheck to paycheck. If if I miss a couple paychecks, I'm fucked, and so are a lot of people in this country. You know what I mean? So I'm just saying that I think that the labor value that you are producing as a worker, you should be getting the full fruits of that value instead of having it extracted by the capitalist, right? So, just to come up with a hypothetical here, So let's say you're working at a toothbrush factory and you're making, you produce toothbrushes and oh god damn it, I'm fucking tired. I really don't want to go through this whole hypothetical. You get what I mean though, right? Like with surplus value and everything, like the capital that you're generating, you're not getting all of that, right? The overwhelming majority of that is going to the guy on top, and that's the problem I have
Okay.
fundamentally.
I don't. I don't like. There's a lot of things I don't like about capitalism. I'm not saying it's a perfect system.
Hmm.
Obviously, it has flaws.
Yeah, I'm
For
assuming you advocate for like a mixed economy, right? Like,
Yeah, I really do. I think,
hmm.
of course, every economy is going to have some risk and some benefits to it, no matter what it is, like socialism or a mixed economy or more of a market economy or whatever. There's always going to be benefits and downsides to it, but I think if we, I guess, changed it a little bit more of what we do, it could be a lot better for workers. I just got a question. What percentage do you think they should get? Let's say
Um,
Amazon.
oh, well, I think that the
Because
God.
obviously Jeff Bezos makes billions of dollars.
Listen,
So
listen, listen.
exactly what
I
percentage should they
I
get?
am not able to really have this conversation because I don't want you to get take your video taken down for radical content. So let's just say I want very bad things to happen to Jeff Bezos. I want him to be tried for trials for what the fuck? For crimes against humanity, and I want his company seized entirely by the workers.
You cut out.
Oh, I said I want his entire company seized by the workers. I want Jeff Bezos out of the equation. I want his head to be rolling after being chopped off by a guillotine.
That seems the stream. So you actually support actually taking something by force like that?
Ew, yeah, yeah,
Wow.
because because they're exerting force over us. So my
They're
answer
not
is,
putting a
well, we'll
gun to
exert
your
force over
head.
them.
You're suggesting they take that by force.
Well,
Like,
they do though. They basically do because here's the thing, right? If I don't work for the capitalists, what am I going to do? I'm going to go out on the streets. I'm going to live on the streets. I have no
you
choice.
don't have to work for Jeff.
Capitalism is not. Yes, you do.
You don't have to work for
Capitalism.
them though. You
Yes,
can
I
work
do. Yes, I
anywhere,
do. Yes, I do. Because if I don't, I'm going to be out on the streets and I'm going to starve.
but you don't
I
have to
have
work
no
for Jeff
choice in the matter.
Bezos.
No, no, you're right. I don't have to work for Jeff Bezos, but I have to work for a capitalist up
I mean,
to
you
some
gotta
degree.
live.
Whether
I mean,
it's
you gotta get food. Like, even
yeah,
under a
exactly.
communism, you have to get earn money.
Well, yeah, no, of course.
So,
But my point is that I have to work under capitalists. I have no say in
I mean, if
what I'm producing, how I'm producing it. I have no say in how which direction the company goes. I have no say in how many hours I'm working, what times I'm working. I have no say in anything,
so you'd be
right?
okay with the structure of Amazon if you had a say in it and you were getting a larger, I guess, percentage of what he gets.
Mm, no, 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 no. I don't want there to be a CEO at all. I want there to be a council of workers. Possibly we can have like a council communist kind of system. We can we
What
so
if
we
people
can
are
have
just
like
lazy
workers
though?
councils.
I know you touched on this in an earlier video. What if they're just lazy? Let's say me and
Hmm.
you work there, and you work very hard at your job,
Hmm.
and I just barely get by, and we generally will make the same amount of money. We get the same,
Hmm.
right
Sure,
around the same percentage.
sure.
What would you do in that situation? Because obviously I can't exactly be fired. I can be, but it's much harder to do so under those circumstances.
Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying. I think that we could. I mean, I think there's a lot of avenues you can go down. It really just depends on what kind of system we're talking about. I think that maybe we could, sort of have a workers' council that oversees everything. Isn't extracting labor value from you, right? They're just kind of making sure the lights are kept on and everything kind of thing. Maybe we can have a system where we have some sort of council that we can sit you down with and be like, hey, need to kind of, step it up a little bit or something like that.
What if I
I mean, I'm not,
just refuse? I'm just doing the bare minimum, and regardless what you offer me, I'm not doing anything else.
um, I mean, honestly,
You just gotta deal with it and just take it and
I don't think so. I think that, maybe we can have some sort of, maybe we can hold it to a vote. Like, hey, should we keep this guy or should we not keep this guy? Let's hold it to a vote. We could do that. We could, just because I honestly, I really, maybe I have too much faith in humanity. I really don't think there's too many people out there that are, completely
yeah.
physically and mentally able to perform work that just don't want to do it. I'm sure, yeah, they exist, of course, but I think that a lot of it has to do with the current alienation under
Yeah,
capitalism.
it's just a hypothetical thing. I was just wondering what your idea. Like, what if like the vote fails for some odd reason? Maybe I have some friends there, or I have some. I wouldn't say powerful friends because there's really no structure there to really do that. But somehow I convince these people that well, we don't have to really work as hard as Team A. Let's say we're Team B. We're getting
Hmm.
paid the same. If we just don't, of course, there's going to be a vote, and if you can't get a consensus through the
Yeah, so yes,
workers,
so you're
you
saying that
can't
what
get
if
rid
you
of
win the
me.
vote?
Yeah, what if I win the vote? You just can't get rid of me. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
sooner or later you might get rid of me, but that might be, maybe a year, a couple years. Who knows? You just, I kind of, I just don't understand. I don't. I hate the at will states. I absolutely fucking hate it. They should have at least a reason to fire you.
Hmm.
Absolutely. I hate that kind of situation. So I can understand there has to be some kind of middle
Well,
ground here.
so I think that, when it comes to like a socialist mode of production, I think that we should still have like we can still have rules, right? Like it's not like there just aren't any rules. So if you're blatantly breaking the rules, I think that the workers' council should, or whatever kind of system that we have should decide to, you know, I mean, I think that disciplinary action when it comes to like firing somebody, I think that should be an absolute last resort. I think that I'm a kind of person that doesn't like to give up on people. But I think that there should be some sort of system in place that, sort of, you know, displaces or
Yeah,
gets rid of,
I agree.
people
There's
who are
more
just kind of
reasonable
being
people.
dicks.
Yeah, there's more reasonable people than just like I refuse to do this, whatever. I'm sure there exist
Mhm.
too. It's just like a extreme, probably outlier of
Yeah.
the
Yeah, and here's the thing. I
situation.
don't have all the answers, you know what I mean? Like I have a
Yeah, I
sort of
just
outline of
I'm
what
just
I'd like
wondering
to
what you'd
see.
say.
Yeah, no, and I understand, but I'm just saying I don't have all the answers to everything. I have a sort of outline of where I'd like to see the direction of the world go, but I definitely don't have all the answers to everything. I do my best to like read theory and read all this stuff and try to educate myself and everything. But truth be told, I don't have the answers to everything. I think that
Oh,
we as a sort of collective ought
yeah.
to sort of kind of push towards these ideas and kind of bounce off each other and stuff like that pretty much.
Well, I will say I disagree with you, but
Yeah,
that
I mean
is
I
what it
figured you
is.
would. I didn't come here to convince you to be a
Yeah,
communist, trust me. I knew that wasn't going to happen.
yeah. I'm not full bore, you know, on the train of capitalism either. I obviously see a lot of flaws with that as well.
And that's good.
There's a lot of things I don't like taxes and shit. That should be changed definitely.
What about taxes do you not like?
One major one is subsidies and super rich not be able to pay a lot of these taxes because they lobby, politicians to pass laws where they don't have to pay such things. Where I don't think that should be allowed
Yeah, I completely agree.
at all. Like that should be an illegal thing, or at least very difficult to do.
Yeah, I completely agree.
There's one subject I want to get to is the Hassan issue.
God, the C word.
The C word. I'm a little bit surprised he was banned, but at the same time, I'm like, yeah, he kind of deserved it because he was saying it in a racist, I guess, a racist
Yeah,
way.
I think he violated TOS probably for
Like,
sure. Yeah.
because he called. Well, I don't know if fucking YouTube is gonna fucking delete my shit after I say this.
YouTube doesn't seem to care. It's
Yeah,
mainly
it doesn't.
Twitch.
Yeah, it seems like Twitch. I can't remember his quote because he called someone a pasty cracker, and that seems pretty racist to me.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, he was clearly yeah, being, saying it in a hateful way, and I think that,
Yeah, there's one thing
and
I just don't understand about like certain, I guess, slurs. Of course, one particular word has a huge hierarchy in these slurs, which I find really weird. With language is weird like that, and
yeah,
society holds the N word to a huge standard.
but
But
yet like the
but
COON word
yeah,
isn't as high in that
exactly,
totem
like,
pole. Yeah.
or any other slur isn't even close to this. Where I'm just like, all
Hmm.
these are really fucking bad, and
Yeah.
they shouldn't be said. But somehow this the N word shouldn't be said at all by anybody. Sometimes that's the case, but or black people just should be allowed to say it and nobody else, or a person of color should be able to say it and no one else, which I find really weird. I remember talking
I
about that
mean,
about in chat and text. And I was like, as long as it's
yeah.
consistent banned by Twitch, I don't care. But like, I was trying to figure out why this weird society has like this weird like limit
Well,
to certain slurs than others.
so do you think that I don't want to say it because I don't want to get you banned. Do you think that the word Hassan said is at the same level, like at the exact same level as the N word? Because I don't personally think so. I think it's still a slur. I agree with you. It's a slur, but I don't think it's
I
at the
was
same
thinking
level.
about this because it's difficult for me to hop on it without being hypocritical. I hate doing that, but I was thinking about it for a while, and I was thinking like the society definitely thinks this is.
Mhm.
So,
And why is that, do you think?
um, I have no idea because I was thinking maybe it's more a historic thing, but
Hmm.
the derogatory word for a gay person, the F, I don't know. I just don't want to say
F
it out.
slur.
The F slur,
Yeah.
historically, that's been in bundle of sticks, and that's a really big no-no today. So
Yeah, yeah, the
that's not
definitions of
that's
words change
weird.
over time, yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, it is
I
it's
can't
interesting
say
how that
it's
happens.
yeah. It's like I can't say the N word's worse because of the history, because certain other slurs don't fall in there, and sometimes they're pretty close to that or almost equal
I'm
to you know the same the I guess the equal in the hierarchy of. So I was just like,
I think that yeah, I think some slurs are, and I think that it is. I agree with you. I think it is kind of weird that and the N word is like higher than like say like I don't want to say this one. I don't want to say anything that's gonna get you banned, but like slurs for Hispanics and stuff seem to
yeah,
be
I'm gonna
like
try to stick away
less.
from it too. I'll
Yeah,
probably
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I don't
yeah.
want to
Yeah, I
get
don't want to get you
banned.
banned.
That's fine.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, certain slurs like Hispanic people I've noticed are like lower. I don't think it should be. I think but also when it comes like the historical context, the word Hassan used its like etymological origin for, as a derogatory term against white people is like the crack of the whip, right?
Yeah, there's a few origins.
Um,
I'm not too sure which one is more true than another, but yeah.
I think crack of the whip is like pretty Like it's
synonymous.
pretty much agreed upon. It's that. Yeah, but
Yeah, I heard it was from
um,
Britain, from like lower class white people, so I wasn't too sure exactly which origin
yeah, and
was.
it's when we're talking about linguistics, it's actually kind of interesting because different societies view these words differently all over the world, right?
Sure.
So like back in the day, back in the 1800s, Karl Marx used the N-word a few times in private conversations he had with Friedrich Engels, I believe. And what's interesting though is that during that time, that word wasn't considered a slur in Germany or in Europe. You know what I mean? It was a slur in America, but it hadn't really been considered a slur yet in that. So it's like kind of interesting how it's like different cultures view like words differently. So, but yeah, I think that when it comes to the difference between the N word and the C word, I think that, you know, they're both derogatory, they're both slurs, but I think that the N-word has a lot more historical impact behind it with slavery, Jim Crow, and white supremacist movements nowadays. Now, don't get me wrong. There are racist ass people on Twitter and stuff like that, racist people against white people. They're just straight up, they just hate white people, and I think those people are disgusting.
Okay.
And
I
like
was
there's
wondering what
this.
your position was like, because even a lot of leftists were. I've been listening to Destiny a lot.
Oh,
There's
I know.
weird consensus like it's okay to be racist against white people.
Oh, I know, I know. And there's this one particular story that I found really egregious. I don't know if you heard about it, but it was this guy. He was white. He was working at a hotel, and he kind of had like a mental breakdown. And there was this guy who was
Oh
recording him. He was black.
yeah, I seen that.
That was disgusting. I hated like that and the reaction on Twitter for that, like, oh, white boy's getting mad. Is he gonna pull out a gun and stuff like it's like this guy is suffering. He's got really bad mental problems, and you're sitting here making it a race thing when it has nothing to do with race. And so there are absolutely really shitty people online that are racist against white people. I don't like those people. But I also think that I can have like I don't think it's hypocritical to simultaneously have that view, but also I think that the N word has more historical context and impact than the C word
So
does.
here's my, I guess, hot take then. I view it as it's all okay or none of it's okay. But I also recognize, yeah, the N word does have a more, I guess, of a hierarchy in society. But me personally is like, well, it's either every slur is okay to say or none of it is okay to say.
Mm.
Because I don't
Yeah,
like any of it.
I just think that I think we agree on this too. I don't think people should be banned just for saying it.
Yeah,
Like,
like the Vosh ban was stupid. All
mhm,
he was doing was talking about it. He wasn't calling anybody the name. He wasn't
mhm.
using it in a slur, a way he was calling someone it or a slur. So I thought that was perfectly fine. That ban was dumb. I mean, it was
Mhm.
consistent with what they were going with, which is fine if that's a company that they want to do that. But that's just stupid.
Yeah, and and the thing is that I don't think what Vosh did was blatantly against the TOS either. Mind you, I haven't like read the full terms of service. Maybe they changed it recently. I'm not sure, but from what I understand from most like TOSs
Yeah,
on different
was
websites, I don't think that was explicitly against it.
yeah like
But I think what Hassan did, yeah,
yeah.
was probably against TOS,
Yeah,
yeah.
okay.
And you know what? He was being kind of dumb because he should have known that he was going to get banned for that. And
Yeah,
I
he
think he did know. I just don't think he cared.
yeah, definitely and the people's reaction after is like, "Well, he got banned for using the C word." Like he wasn't just banned for that. He was the
Hmm.
context behind it, the way he was using it, and the way he was saying it
Hmm.
was obviously
Yeah, it was
uh
obviously TOS.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
no question.
definitely TOS. You can't be surprised like, "Oh, they banned me. How dare they?" when you're blatantly doing this shit. Come on now.
Hmm. Yeah, no, I mean I agree, and I like Hassan. I watch his content pretty frequently, but yeah, I mean obviously, yeah, I mean I think we're in agreement on that.
Yeah, like I've actually starting to like Destiny a lot for some reason. He seems reasonable. He seems reasonable at
Ooh,
least.
I'm pretty
From what I've
sure.
watched, I haven't watched a whole lot of stuff.
I think he said some weird stuff about pedophiles recently.
I haven't watched
I'm
it yet.
not. Yeah, I'm not sure. Honestly, I'm not going to speak on that because I don't know much about it. I'm not going to go by
He
people
probably
on
thinks it's
Twitter
okay.
because people on Twitter are fucking horrible.
Yeah, I agree.
Twitter is such a, oh God, it's so bad. Like
The
the
nostalgia
woke
chick just
scolds
got.
and everything.
Yeah, speaking of that, nostalgia chick got canceled for something she said
Who?
like 6 months ago.
Lindsay Ellis, you said?
Yeah, listening to this nostalgia
Oh,
chick.
that was ridiculous.
It
Uh,
was. What she said wasn't even remotely racist. How can
no,
you look at that? I was like, okay, maybe she was trying to say like all Asian like cartoons are the same, but
I
that's
don't
not
think that's what she was
racist.
saying. Well,
No, I
I
don't
mean,
think she was saying
yeah,
either. But like, even
yeah.
if she
Even if she was
was,
saying that,
like, if it mimics the Last
I'm talking about
Airbender,
cartoons, not people.
yeah, like they're
The
ripping off elements of the Last Airbender.
I don't even know if
So
it did because I haven't watched it
I haven't
yet. I
watched it
still need to
either,
watch Raya.
but
Yeah, I still need to
it
watch
did
it to give
look
my
like it
opinion on
was
that.
ripping it off just from like from the cover alone.
There were people on Twitter that were like, it was nothing like the Last Airbender, blah blah blah. I don't know. I haven't seen it, so I can't give my opinion. But
Yeah, I haven't
either
watched.
way, either way, whether it is or not, I think we're in agreement. She's definitely not racist, and the fact that
Definitely not
she is
racist.
leaving, content creation, honestly, I understand. You know what I mean? Like I haven't dealt with anywhere near what she's dealt with, of course. But, during the whole Just a Robot thing, I was getting flamed. During
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I
I
old
was wondering
fans of
about that one.
mine. Yeah, I mean that whole thing was I was just being a stupid fucking troll. You got to remember when like I'm 21. Like
I got flamed
during
pretty bad there too, but I just didn't give a shit.
yeah, when I was doing all this shit, I was a teenager. So it's like you have all these people who are in their late 20s, early 30s that are, talking about how great I used to be and whatever, and now I'm horrible. Well, I was going to use the T slur because I'm allowed to say it, but I don't want to get banned. But, I'm trans and I'm icky or whatever. But, so like I kind of get what she's going through. Not nearly on the same scale, but so I mean, it's sad to see her go, and
Yeah,
I
wrestler.
wasn't the biggest fan of her content, but it's kind of shitty that she was literally
Yeah, like
bullied off the
she
internet.
said that 6 months ago, which is weird.
Mm-mm.
I was like, why? I don't understand. Like 6 months ago, and now
I'm
she's saying,
telling you, these Twitter people are relentless. What probably happened was she was just getting bombarded constantly. It's like what's the term? Death by a thousand cuts or whatever. Like you just have all
yeah, I
these
heard it was
different
just on
people just
Twitter because
constantly.
it didn't seem like anything was happening on YouTube's end. If you look
Hmm.
at the comments, it doesn't, or the views or the like dislike ratio, it doesn't. She didn't look like she was really getting canceled from that aspect. I looked at her channel, I was like,
Yeah,
what's going on? She looks like she's doing great here. So what the hell is going on? Is she
yeah,
going on
it's
Twitter? And I was just like,
yeah,
it sounded like
it's
more
the
she
Twitter
wanted.
mob.
I read most of her stuff. I was like, it seems like she just wanted a way out of that. It's just like she knows it's not racist. Maybe the mob was just so bad that she's like, yeah, I can't do this anymore. That could be the case, but I was just like, it seems like she's making, I wouldn't say excuse, but like she sees this way out and she's like, yeah, I can go now and just use this as something that I can, like a jumping point. Like
Uh,
she had the plans of kind of like stopping anyways. That I maybe
Maybe,
analyzing
I
it wrong.
mean, I think there's some truth to that. I think that because you have to remember, she's dealt with a lot of like abuse from, people online, especially during the whole Gamergate shit. Like she
Yeah.
was, I mean, I think we can both agree there was a
Oh
lot of
yeah.
toxicity in that.
That and a few other tweets that she did that she got a huge backlash for that she shouldn't have gotten, obviously.
Yeah, so I mean, the whole thing is just it's
Yeah,
it's
might as
just
well
sad.
burn
It's
the
just sad
video.
to see how, and honestly, like I don't after like seeing what sort of transpired with a lot of like bigger content creators. I remember back when I first started YouTube, I really wanted to be a big content creator. I wanted to make money and all that. Now, yeah, I think I'm good. I think I'm fine where I am. I think I'll just stay here.
I actually agree with you there. That's one thing I aspired to kind of do too. Is like, wow, it wouldn't be great to earn so much fucking money from this. Of course, you would have to get like tens of thousands of views. I was like, yeah,
Hmm.
that could be fucking awesome. For like 10,000, maybe 100,000 views, you'd be like, oh shit, this is fucking awesome. But then you're like, yeah, you fuck up one time, and you're just fucking done. It doesn't matter
It's
what it
over.
is. Yeah,
And that,
YouTube career is over. Exposed videos for
yeah.
fucking days. You're just like, you're just done. You,
Yeah, and I guess that's one thing, one giant thing that I sort of you know, defect from a lot of like leftists on the internet is that I think cancel culture is a thing. Um and I think it's bad, you know.
it can be. Yes, that may be my personal experience on what I've seen. At least is like, for the most part, yes, it is way more
Well,
bad than good.
what the experience that I had that sort of made me realize like holy shit was now this was like on a much smaller scale obviously, but I remember like I banned someone from my Discord server and I had like 20, 30 people like constantly harassing me about it, yelling at me in calls and stuff and like, going on Twitter talking about how much of a horrible person I am. And it just made me realize like holy shit, what if it was like 300,000 people doing this? How would I even
Right.
like
Or even a
recover
couple
from that?
hundred. Even like four or
Yeah.
500 people like doing that. It's like, holy shit. Yeah,
Yeah,
I got
it's
flamed for my
crazy.
Totally Mark video.
You did?
Yeah,
Oh
a
yeah,
little bit.
I can kind
I had
of see
like
that
14
because people are
dislikes.
really emotional about stuff like that.
They got super mad. It's like all I said is like, well, I don't think it falls into fair use because he has 30 minutes of fucking Dragon Ball footage playing in the background when he's reviewing this shit. Come on now.
Yeah, like he should have known that was gonna bite him in the
Right.
ass. I
I mean,
mean,
he got a shit ton more Patreon, so what he didn't give a fuck.
yeah, no, I
He
mean
got
it's
like a
he's
thousand
gonna
to
be
like
fine.
5,000, so he got a shit ton of support for
Yeah,
that.
he's gonna be fine.
Like
I think.
like I think he's a bit disingenuous a lot when he pulls that shit. I'll be honest with you. He did it with
Yeah, and
Backyard Media as well. He did that same fucking thing. He made a video,
mm,
had it up for a couple days, and deleted it. I'm just like, what the fuck is wrong with you, dude?
good God. Yeah, shit. It's getting a little late. Is there anything else you want to talk
I
about?
think that was pretty much it.
Alrighty. Yeah, I mean, I
Stop
think
the video here.